Is the blackmailing of the felon about to be exposed? Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. First off, a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel, everybody who likes, watches, comments on the videos. If you promote the channel in any way, a huge, huge thank you. If you've given money to the channel through Venmo, buy me a coffee, the super thanks is all greatly, greatly appreciated. And to my good friend Anne, the frog is right here. So thank you for your comment, Anne. Okay, so on Blue Sky, one of our members sent me a TikTok video, and I'll link the TikTok video to this video. And it's 8 minutes, and it's just news coverage of Trump's interaction in Saudi Arabia with somebody talking over it, the creator of the video talking over it, and explaining what's going on. And essentially, what it is Trump being shown old photos of himself by a luxury hotel mogul. And so let's ask some questions about these pictures. There's one point in the video, and again, I'll link that. So if you want to watch the video for yourself, you can, where Trump looks visibly disturbed by what he's seeing. And it's clear that there's some points where you can get a glimpse at the pictures, and it's very clear they're old pictures of the felon when he was younger, probably from the 1980s. And this very visible discomfort. Also in the screen is the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, MBS. And so some questions about whether this whole thing was set up. So let's just first start with asking, were these pictures a threat? So were these pictures a threat of exposing information about the felon? Were these pictures a threat about exposing information about the felon? So when I was scrying on this, there's at one point the felon folds up a picture and puts it in his pocket. Now these are just black and white. Well, they might have been colored printouts from just a normal printer. It's not like they don't have copies of these pictures elsewhere. When I was scrying, I could see the felon ripping this up in his hotel room when he got back and being visibly angry and kind of distraught, not really knowing what to do. So those images from my scrying tends to back up what I've been saying for months and months and months, that there's a lot of blackmail going on, and it has nothing to do with money. It just doesn't. It has nothing to do with the election. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with some of his actions back in the 80s in some of these hotels. That's my feeling. But let's ask the question, were these pictures a threat to expose the felon's behavior from the 80s? I'm just getting an image of the felon in the scrying bowl, and his face is very red. He's very angry. His fists are like kind of clenching like this. It's all, we get the 10 of Pentacles and the inheritance card. And here I think, he thinks of his inheritance as his reputation. That's really what it is. And pentacles are things that we value. They don't have to specifically be money. And here, what he values is his reputation, the name. Now, while for people that watch this channel, that name means absolutely nothing and it's been completely destroyed, he doesn't see it that way, right? And many other people don't see it that way. Yeah. In the environment around, the seeds have now been completely planted that not only does Putin have information on him, others have information on him, and they're going to start to use it. And so this particular guy who was handing over the pictures is this hotel mogul. And if you watch the TikTok video, she does this. she traces some of his interactions. This guy knows Putin, for example. So is Putin sending subtle messages through intermediaries about you need to start doing what I'm saying? And we get the full card in the upper right. Yeah. So the felon was hoping he could keep this really secret really tight and held close to his chest, this pentacle that he values, this information which is of an enormous amount of value to his reputation, to his presidency, to his legacy, to people's view on it. And don't forget, the felon passed a law that made deep fake pornography illegal. So I think the defense will be that these will be deep fake pornographies if they come out. Although pornography is not the right word, I think it's assault. Yeah, it's all about intergenerational relationships. We keep pulling this card, the Six of Cups. It's about inappropriateness between him and people that are younger for entertainment purposes only. And we get the Queen of Wands. Somebody's going to be looking into this. This didn't go unnoticed. Now, it's maybe not entered the public sphere as much yet, but it will. And it's not gone unnoticed. This puts the felon in a very defensive posture, as he was if you watch the video, very much in a defensive posture, the Seven of Wands. And it's very much threatening his happy life, so to speak, with the Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups speaks about families, reunions, celebrations. Here, I'm just drawn to the two little ones on the card because there aren't too many cards in the tarot that actually have little ones depicted on them. So I don't think that's coincidental that this card came up. And tens are the end of cycles as well. We have the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. And it's causing him a lot of anxiety. So this thing that he was shown that was of immense value to him is threatening um, his legacy, threatening his name, threatening his children. And it has to do with intergenerational relationships, and it's causing an immense amount of anxiety. So when I said something big was going to happen the weekend, and then we got Biden being diagnosed with cancer, I thought maybe it was that. I actually think it might be this. It might be this. So this was that same weekend. So the felon's defending himself against the information about this. And this is just a new world now. He realizes that these threats aren't idle, that the threats are real, and people are willing to expand the circle of people that know about this. So he was hoping to keep the secret close to his chest. He's hoping that the people would just keep the secret. He'd do whatever they were asking him to do so that they'd keep it. But now in his mind, he realizes that that's probably not really what's going to happen. And again, I think this is just the tarot. The Ten of Cups is just the tarot's way of saying that we're right about what we're reading about, what the information's about, is about the little people in the Ten of Cups. But this feels like a prosecutorial type energy. Somebody's looking into this. It could be like a Jasmine Crockett. It could be somebody that's actually a prosecutor. It could be some very astute and powerful female energy is what it feels like to me. Yeah, firing messages coming out. This ends people's view that he's somebody who is viewed as a deity in some sense. In the circle of MAGA, he's kind of viewed that way. And we get the star card of hope, people wishing and praying that all this comes out so that we can get over that. All the information's out there for people to figure it out. It's just a matter of the right people piecing it together. And that'll create the rest of his life and his presidency to spiral in a downward fashion where he's not able to accomplish anything. So let's hope that that is what proceeds. So the next question I want to ask is, were hotels in the 80s collecting video footage of him? So this guy that's pictured in the video handing these pictures to the felon owns a bunch of luxury hotels. Now, I think he probably got the information from Putin, but were these luxury hotels that the felon was staying at, were they collecting video evidence of him against his knowledge? It almost feels like this is all going to be a ruse that led up to this moment. Like it was all planned to get him into power and then to take advantage of him. Were they collecting evidence? Yeah. They were all about this toxicness, this under the scenes surveillance, surveilling him, gathering information with the notion of using it in the future. They kept it secret. Uh, the felon had no idea this was going on, so he just kept proceeding along with his twisted life. The Queen of Cups and the environment around. They knew that this information would be gratefully powerful because people in this world, for the most part, are not willing to accept this behavior from anyone, point blank, just period. You know, I can't tell you what percentage of people, but it's big. Like 90% of people are not willing to accept any sort of behavior along these lines. They knew that they'd be able to trap him in this kind of wheel of fortune energy where they could literally make him fall whichever direction they want on whatever issue it is they want to promote. The environment around, we at strength, they're holding all the cards. So everybody who has this information, they're the ones with the power, not the felon. At the center of the reading is this juggling of money and overseas influence. It's really kind of a figuring out of how to leverage this information for personal gain. Like the for entertainment purposes only, the blackmail isn't really about um exposing him as much as it is for them making personal gains. Now, for some people, this is money. Most people, it's not, though. Most people, it's power, it's weapons, it's territorial advancements. In the case of Putin, it's just different things to different people. Some money, maybe easing some, maybe making the market go up and down really dramatically so people can make money and them being informed that that's what he's going to do. Meanwhile, the world's kind of in this state of pausing and suspending, wondering what is going on. Nothing makes sense. The reason why it doesn't make sense is because we're not viewing it from the vantage point of him being controlled by other people because of information they have on him. And if you view it from that, if you just take a moment and you step back from everything he said of, Ukraine started the war, to lessening sanctions on cryptocurrency with Russia, to talking about Israel taking over Gaza, to um, you know there's more and more examples as I'm just kind of drawing a blank because it's overwhelming the amount of things that he's doing that makes no sense. Weakening NATO, embarrassing Zelensky in the White House. None of that makes sense unless you view it from this perspective. And if you view it from this perspective, it makes perfect sense. It absolutely makes perfect sense that that's what's going on. And it's not about money. It is not about the election. It is about something much darker, something that would really ruin him, even with the MAGA base. And that deep fake porn bill is not coincidental. It's a sense of loss, the Five of Cups. They knew that they would be able to use this because it would create a sense of loss for him. He knew that it would destroy his reputation. So, therefore, this information is very valuable. And we get the greedy merchant and the environment around. This is kind of like the felon just going about life, not realizing that he's being surveilled. Because, like we've talked about, he's just not smart. It's really just quite that simple. And now there's a lot of fighting going on and internal battles of how to use this information. So that'll play out over the coming months. So we have this toxic energy, this devil-like behavior on the part of the felon that people know about. They're trying to figure out how to use it to enrich themselves, whether it's with money or whether it's with other things. There's some fighting about how to do that. And there's a lot of fighting about how the information wouldn't be of value if they start to release it slowly. It's only of value if they keep it secret. So, meanwhile, the felon is in this like self-loathing circle of despair, so to speak, because he knows people are trying to take advantage of him. In fact, he straight up knows it. And he knows that this really would, like, his life could change in an instant, just in an instant. And that's why things are so scary in the United States this moment. It has to do with his greedy behavior. The people that have the evidence, they hold all the strength. The evidence is such that it would make everybody react negatively towards the felon. There really wouldn't be an explanation for it. And that's why the world is in the state of pause and suspension and disbelief with the hanged man. We're in the hanged man energy. A lot of people are. Um, we're just waiting. We're waiting for the shoe to collapse. We're waiting for him to disappear from the scene because it is overwhelming and it is painful. Fiery new leadership is coming with the Ace of Wands. The messages are going to come out. It's going to be a very defining moment in the United States with the Two of Wands, but it's going to bring an end to that cycle. And not only that, it's inevitable with the Three of Wands. And the Ten of Wands, the burdens, this is how the felon feels. The felon feels anxiety, the Nine of Swords. The felon feels trapped. He doesn't know, there's no countering this, there's no escape plan. And this is going to bring about a new beginning for not only the United States, but for the felon and for the world. And justice will come back and things will start to rebalance. So hang in there, have faith. It's going to happen before you know it. Like I said, I don't think this information comes out until after he's gone, but I think it just shakes everybody to the core, and everybody that supported him kind of gets lumped up into this because there'll be information coming about how they knew about it. So, um, yeah, um, just stay strong. This is just a tough energy to live in right now. So, did the Crown Prince set up this meeting on purpose? Was this set up by the Crown Prince? Just a yes or no. Was this set up by the Crown Prince? Was this meeting set up by the Crown Prince? Meeting set up by the Crown Prince. Yes. The Crown Prince and Putin have been discussing how to get the felon to act even with more urgency on issues on their behalf because they see his decline. And once he's gone, well, I think they'll release the information just to embarrass his family. They know that it's of no use once he's dead. They can try to blackmail his family, but if they're not in power, it doesn't mean anything. So we get the Black Lumen card. This is really dark stuff happening behind the scenes. This is the White Lumen Tarot, by the way. So really dark stuff going on behind the scenes. The Seven of Pentacles. The seed was planted that they needed to push this a little bit harder and to really relay to the felon the extent of the information they had. And we get the Fool card again in the upper right. This foolish behavior will be exposed. But this brings about a new phase in the blackmailing for entertainment purposes only. So now the pictures themselves aren't showing anything explicit. They're just showing pictures of him in hotels, is what I think it is, so that he knows that they know what was going on. We get the tower structures being torn down. That was the whole point of this meeting. And the devil's at the center of the reading. It's all about manipulation, control, holding him in bondage, so to speak. Yeah, these are not good cards. And we get the Four of Cups, going from a state of apathy to a state of being frightened. Because I think the felon before was kind of, yeah, they're not really going to do this to me. But I think he now thinks that that's not the case. We get the Five of Swords, being wounded in battle. This meeting shook him to his core. You can see the disgust. I'll link the TikTok video. Hopefully it'll stay up, but it's just one of disgust. But this is pool footage, so it should be easily obtainable by news agencies. And we get the Nine of Pentacles, the Crown Prince and his cronies. They have everything they need to get what they want. And it's inevitable that they're going to use it. So there's all this dark energy behind the scenes going on that's keeping the felon, keeping a tight grip on the felon, keeping him in bondage, so to speak, making him do things that they want to do. And it's inevitable that he's going to do them because he fears this coming forward. He's very much wounded in battle from the information that they have and the control that they have over him. And it's a new reality for him. And it's not a pleasant one. So the seeds have been planted. This feeling of just being apathetic and feeling like, ugh, towards the people that are threatening him has now changed to realizing they have everything they need. They have absolutely everything they need to take him down. And we get the Tower card. They have everything they need to tear down the structures. So underneath, we have the Ten of Cups again, this family reunion celebrations. And I don't think that's an unusual card to pull, along with the Emperor card, which is the card for the presidency and the abuse of power that's going on. Ultimately, we get victory. Why do we get victory? Because there's guardrails in place and the cycle comes to an end. When's the cycle come to an end? When the truth is revealed. And when the truth is revealed, I'm sorry, that was the Ace of Swords. When the truth is revealed, we get the Three of Swords energy, which is just complete and utter heartbreak. And a feeling for the felon of being stabbed in the back. So history's not going to remember him kindly, partly because of the things he's doing, but part of the things that he's doing is just trying to save himself. That's what this whole second term is all about, in my opinion. The last question I want to ask is, how is this affecting his health? Like, so since this weekend when it was, or last weekend, I'm recording this on Saturday, May 24th. And yes, I misspoke in the last video. That was not recorded in February. So this went down the weekend before when I said something big was going to happen, and then we kind of didn't really know what it was. And I think this is it. It might take a while before we realize the scope of it, but it's big. It's big. Okay, so how is this affecting the felon's health? I only ask that because I know we all wake up every day just wanting it to be over with. And that makes it uncomfortable for us because most of us have grown up and not wishing ill upon people, but he's being so harmful to everybody that that's just the natural feeling, I think. So don't beat yourself up if you wish ill. It's not good. I can see he's reaching for some like headache medicine. This is why he doesn't sleep well at night. Look at the Ace of Wands. That's very interesting. This is about new leadership, a new career. We know the felon's not starting a new career. So whose new career is it? We get the Nine of Pentacles. He does have people around him that are very well about his health conditions. And we get the Nine of Cups, the greedy merchant. I think this is ultimately his downfall, is his greed throughout the years. Yeah, the Nine of Swords. That's three nines in a row. That's not good. The Nine of Swords, anxiety, sleepless nights. It's like the universe's message of saying, things are kind of getting close to the end, right? 999. What happens after 999? Well, you go to 1,000, right? And that's like a totally different realm. So the Two of Pentacles, he's juggling a lot. He's very overwhelmed. He's in this very defensive posture with the Seven of Wands. He's just always on edge. It's like there is no downtime for him. Like, even in this chaos, I'm hoping that you and I, maybe this is a me wish, can take the time to relax every once in a while. Because if we're constantly in this defensive posture, it becomes exhausting. It takes its physical toll. We get justice. Things have to come back into balance. It's a karmic justice. And we get the Eight of Wands. Things will start to move quickly. His health will start to deteriorate rather quickly, I think. And we get the Two of Wands. This is very much a crossroads for him. So, new leadership, who is it? It's probably the vice president taking over. The felon's juggling too much. He can't handle it. And he's at this very tenuous point, which is a crossroads moment with the Two of Wands. The Justice card's going to bring about some karmic justice, but it's also going to bring the world back into balance, which is so desperately needed. In the meantime, though, we're seeing the felon with so much on his plate, and I feel zero empathy for him at all. It's overwhelming. So this greed that caused all this, he's reliving these things, which is good. And hopefully he feels bad as he relives them. He has really good health care with the Nine of Wands or Nine of Pentacles. but he's having a hard time sleeping. He has a lot of anxiety. He knows that things can change in an instant and really quickly with the Eight of Wands. And that's why he's in this constant state of a defensive posture with the Seven of Wands. Underneath, we have the Queen of Swords. And then we get the Three of Pentacles. This is circles of support around money. But I think he realizes that that was all a facade, that the structure's been torn down, that Putin and Musk and Netanyahu, they're not his friends, MBS. They were never there for him. We get fiery messages coming forward. Who do they come forward to? They come forward to the voters. How are they presented? They're presented very logically so people can understand exactly what happened and why it happened. And that leaves a feeling of being isolated and alone. But it also brings about a feeling in the country of reuniting with people, people changing their minds. The Ten of Cups, again, the only card that really depicts little people. And there's a spy in the camp. There's things behind the scenes that we can't see. But ultimately, we get this guy standing behind like a court witness stand with the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is all about deceit and deception. That gets exposed. And it gets exposed by some sort of really strong feminine energy, like a prosecutorial type energy. And that leaves the felon out in the cold. And then here's our Ten of Swords. This is this complete and utter downfall. Now, he might be gone by the time this happens, but, you know, he's still going to feel it karmically. So, which is not much solace, but it's a little bit of solace. So, anyhow, thank you for watching. I am traveling next week, but I think I'm going to take some tarot cards with me and possibly do some readings from the hotel. I'm just going to visit a college friend. So, anyhow, if you don't hear from me for a few days next week, that's why. But I appreciate everybody. Try to rest, relax, enjoy the weather when it's not crazy. And yeah, thank you, everybody.